Alright, hey, what is up guys? This is Suhaib Shah here. In today's video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a simple Python Firebase authentication app. So what you're going to be able to do is you are going to be able to create a username or like a user account with email and password, you know, that kind of system, or you could sign them in and say like hello something, or you could actually send them an email verification, or you could, for example, send them a password reset email. So that's the kind of features that you can get with this, and it's really simple. It's not that hard. Like all you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to create a few objects in Python. So I'm gonna add a project, and I'm gonna call this one, maybe I'm gonna say Firebase, or you know what, I don't need Firebase in this name. I'm just gonna call it Python. So Python tutorial, or you know what, Python Auth tutorial. And I'm gonna continue with this. Analytics, I don't think I need any of those, so I'm gonna create this project with simple stuff. It's gonna take some time creating this project, maybe like a minute or two, so just keep that in mind. And it says provisioning resources, so it's finishing up right now. That didn't take very long. Continue, and now it opens this console. Now what you want to do here is, as it says here, get started by adding Firebase to your app. So I'm going to do exactly that, but I'm going to add a web app. Alright, so you click on this. I'm going to call it a nickname. Yeah, I guess I could call it a nickname. I'm going to call it cute app. Yeah, so register app, and in this step where it says add Firebase Sdk, you could take this part. Alright, so like this is JavaScript, but since we're going to be doing it in Python, we don't need the var area here. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to take this Firebase config and copy this. Alright, I copy it from here, or I could press Command C, but now I'm going to go to my Python IDE. Alright, and what I'm going to do is, as you can see, I've got an empty file here, and I'm going to paste this onto it. Or actually, you know what, first we should actually import our files in this, our necessary libraries. So I'm going to import, I can't type today, I'm kind of sick, but I'm going to import Firebase, okay, which is Python's library for Firebase. But if you don't have Firebase, what you could do is you could go to the terminal and actually say pip3 install Firebase. Simple. But since I already have it, it's gonna say that already satisfied, requirement already satisfied, so it's already there. But if you don't have pip3 and you try this, it's gonna give you an error, pip3 command not found. So in that case, all you have to do is you have to install pip3, which I'm sure you can find tutorials for online. So first I imported Firebase, and then I import the getPass library. So I just say, you know, from getPass import getPass. Now what this means is I get the getPass library, which is actually similar to the input library in Python, in which we can actually get input from the user, but we instead don't show what the user is writing. So it's kind of useful for getting passwords from the user. So since these are imported, all I gotta do now is I'm just gonna paste what I copied there earlier. Oh wait, yeah, I think I copied the wrong thing, so let me just go back to the other window, and I'm gonna copy this and paste it right here. Now, as you can see, I didn't copy the ending bracket for this, so I'm just going to put it right here. And this is essential information here, but as you can see, it's underlined red in here. This is because it's in JavaScript JSON format, but we're going to convert this into strings, so we're going to put double quotation marks around this. So there's an easy way to do this. You just select all of it and just put your quotation marks there to convert this into the type string. I overdid that. Okay, and when all of this is done, you should get no errors and it should be all good. Now it's given me this idea that it didn't do much here, but anyway, the next thing that you want to do here is you want to create a Firebase object. So to do that, you just say Firebase is equal to, so in this case we're declaring a variable called Firebase, and we're going to say that it is equal to Firebase, alright, dot initialize app. And in this function we're going to give it the config file, which in this case is this variable right here. Now this variable, it contains essential information to allow this Firebase library to connect to our Firebase servers or database or our authentication service. Okay, so I'm going to say initialize app and Firebase config. So Firebase config. And that is now going to create our Firebase object. Now what we need to do next is we want to create an auth object that is going to allow us to, like I said before, that's going to allow us to extend or use our functionality in our servers or our Firebase authentication functionality basically. So I'm going to say auth is equal to Firebase dot auth. Now as we created this Firebase object before, so we can just refer to this and we can say firebase.auth. So now this is an auth object. Now what we need to do next is actually create the auth functionality server side. It means that we have to tell this Firebase or we have to tell Firebase that we have this functionality that we want to use. So after this I just want to go to console, and here I'm gonna say authentication, and it's gonna give me this, but I think I'm just gonna say get started. And now we have to enable a sign-in method. Now you could use any of these, but for the purpose of this tutorial I'm going to start with email and password. So I'm going to click on it and enable, and now I have to save. Alright, and now I could add users here, but we're going to do that through our app. So first of all, we're going to take inputs from our user, like ask them to put in their email. So I'm going to say email is equal to input. Alright, so we're going to take input from the user, and what prompt are we going to present them with? So I'm going to say enter your email, and then we're going to have a password object. So I'm going to say password, I spelled that wrong, password is equal to getPass dot getPass, or actually we're just going to say getPass because we imported getPass from getPass. In my previous video I only imported getPass, so in that case I had to getPass dot getPass, but in this tutorial I just said import the function getPass from the library getPass. So from getPass import getPass. So that says that from the getPass library import the getPass function. So I can just say getPass, and once again I can prompt them. So just gonna say enter your password, and just like that. Now this is gonna get us our email and password, so what we want to do is the functionality of what our app is gonna do now. So for example, if I wanted to create a new user, so in that case I would just make a variable, I'm gonna call it user is equal to, and it's simple, auth dot create user with email and password. Now it's gonna want two strings here, which in our case is going to be the email and the password. So I'm just going to say email and password because that's what I named them here. So email and password. And next, now this is going to enable us to create emails and passwords, but we don't have anything else to say here. So like, if it actually created an email and password, then we want it to say successful. Alright, so I'm just gonna make it say successful. So in that case, I'm just gonna say print success. And that should actually work right now. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna run it from this play button right here because I used getPass function. And if I run it from here, it's gonna give me an error during runtime. So I'm just gonna run it from my terminal, so I'm gonna say Python 3 and the name of this file, which is Firebase Auth.py. And if I run this, it should run, and it's gonna ask me for my email, which I'm gonna give it my email. And now it's gonna say enter your password, which if I start writing right now, it's not going to write anything. But if I actually write an okay password that I can actually remember, then I can just simply write a password. So I'm going to write a password, but you won't be able to see it. And now if I press enter, it's going to say success. But we don't actually know if we actually created our user here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our Firebase console here, and I'm going to go to authentication, users, and as you can see there's no users in here. So let's make sure and reload. And here we go, we have our user here. But now what if we wanted to sign in and not actually create the user? In that case, we can actually just, I'm gonna comment this out for now. By the way, if you're wondering how I did that, I just held command and then slash. That is usually the shortcut for commenting something. So anyway, now if I wanted to log in, so I'm gonna make a login variable. It's not important to call these variables all this, but I'm gonna call it because this is my naming convention. So I'm gonna say auth dot sign in with email and password. That's all. And now it's gonna ask me for an email and a password. So I'm just gonna pass in the same variables, email and password. And now this is gonna work. Just gonna enter the same command in the terminal, and now it's gonna ask me for my email again, which I'm gonna enter again, like the same one, so it's successful. And I'm also gonna enter the same password. And it says success. Alright, so now imagine if I wanted to send my user an email verification email. So like we have that functionality in Firebase. So what we do is, I'm gonna comment this out so that this doesn't actually get run in again. But for example, if I wanted to, actually I'm just gonna create a variable. I'm going to call this verification. Alright, and I'm going to set this equal to auth dot send email verification, and then it's going to add an ID token. So this one I'm gonna add in a bit of, for this actually we need to get logged in before. So what we do is we're gonna uncomment this part, and we're gonna say login. Alright, and it has a few, it's actually an array, so we can pretty much just do this and we can find login here, or ID token, sorry, ID token. And now this is gonna send an email verification to this ID token here. So pretty much it's gonna find the email that is associated with this account, and it's gonna send a verification to it. So let's try it, and it should be actually pretty interesting to see how it does it. So I'm gonna enter my email once again. Alright, and whoops, and I'm gonna enter my password, and it says success. Alright, so it does say success, but we don't actually know if it sent the verification email to my account, so let's see if it did. So this is my email, and as you can see, it's pretty much, I've got it. It says no reply, verify your email for project this, and if I click on this and click on the link that it's sent me, I can see that it says your email has been verified. And so this works. But for example, say I lost my password and I don't know my password. So what I could do is I could send a password verification here. And it is actually very simple, like not a password verification, sorry, I meant a password reset email. So for that, all we need to do is not even this, I'm going to comment this out actually, and don't even need the login part. We could just say like since the password variable already exists, I'm just going to call this one password reset is equal to auth.send password reset email, and all it requires is an email string, which we have here. So simple email, there we go, and that should really be it at this point. And let's try this. So it's gonna ask me for my email. I'm not gonna make it ask for my password, that's it. Alright, and I'm gonna start this. Let's see if it works. It's gonna ask me for my email, which I'm gonna enter. Alright, and let's see, it says success. Let's see if I got it. Inbox. Oh, there we go, reset your password. So if I click on this, it's gonna say reset your password for this account. I'm gonna, put in a new password. So, and now if I save this, it's gonna say password changed, and Chrome of course tells me that if it wants me to save, or if I wanted to save the password, which I could. I'm not gonna do it in this case because this is just a tutorial. So this is really the basic functionality that you can get with Firebase Auth in terms of Python. Now, to be honest, there isn't much that you can actually do with Python, and you're gonna need other stuff like Node.js to get the full functionality. Like for example, in Python, you can't actually add listeners to your functions. Like for example, if you want to see if your user actually logged in successfully, you can't do that, because in other languages like Kotlin, you could actually add a listener to it to actually see if it was successful or not, and then based on that you could carry on with your application. But in Python, that isn't actually a functionality. And by the way, Kotlin tutorials on this coming up, so if you're interested in Android Kotlin, you'd really like it. So that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and this is Sohaib Shah out.